Well, we're done with the installation phase. Now it's time to hand it over to Hot Rod Magazine for the evaluation phase.
Hi, this is Ed Taylor, freelance tech to Hot Rod Magazine. I've been building engines and testing parts for over 20 years for the magazines, and every year a bunch of people ask me, when is somebody going to come up with a fuel injection system that's easy to use and doesn't require a laptop or a PhD to tune? Well, Fast Fuel Injection's new EZ-EFI might just be the product that does that. Over the last several days, we've tested the new EZ-EFI at Duttwater Performance on the engine dyno, testing both a 350 and a small block and a 496-inch big block Chevrolet with great results. Now we've moved into the real world, testing it on this red 65 Malibu with a 350. We've already performed a chassis dyno test and a mileage run before we turned it over to McMillan Speed and Fab for the installation of EZ-EFI. Yesterday we had McMillan Speed and Fab do preparation and installation of EZ-EFI on the car. This included modifications of the fuel system, the ignition system, and the installation of the EZ-EFI computer and wiring harness. Now we're at the point where we're ready to put in the basic specifications of the computer so we can start the evaluation. Now it's time to put in the base parameters of our vehicle into the EZ-EFI computer. This is done through the handheld unit in the setup wizard. We go ahead and start this by pressing in here and telling it that we want to start a new tune. And we want to reset the computer. Next, we put in how big the engine is. We have a 350 engine. That's the baseline set. We'll go ahead and enter this. The default idle RPM is 750. That's about right for the engine and the camshaft we have here. We're using a single EZ-EFI in this particular installation. We've preset our fuel injection rail pressure to 43 psi with the engine running and the vacuum line off of the regulator. Number of cylinders in the engine is 8. And now we'll set throttle position. We set throttle position first at the 0 point, and this is done with the throttle closed. We wait for it to learn where closed throttle is. Once this is done, we step on the throttle to wide open throttle. Go ahead and do that. Once it's at wide open throttle, we calibrate wide open. So the throttle position sensor knows in this vehicle that is wide open throttle. Go ahead and close the throttle. Now we're ready to start the engine. We'll give it just a little bit of throttle pedal and start the motor. The motor starts right up and basically should come pretty close to an idle. You might have to hold it up a little bit until the motor warms up, but in most cases, it'll hold its own idle. The handheld unit's not only used for doing basic setup, but can be used for monitoring live data and also modifying the tune-up. Once all the basic parameters are put in the computer, there are 3 things you can tune on the fly. You can tune idle air-fuel ratio, cruise air-fuel ratio for mileage, and a wide open throttle air-fuel ratio for maximum power. Everything else is done automatically and doesn't require a laptop or any input from you. Here we are in the final stop of our evaluation phase at A&A Corvette. Before we arrived here, we spent about an hour and a half driving the car around town, letting the computer learn and tune itself up. The computer got better with the more we drove. The idle was exactly where we asked it to be at 750 RPM. The accelerations were extremely smooth. Never saw a flat spot under acceleration. The car was just phenomenal to drive, the best I've ever seen. For what we're asking it to do, I don't think you can get any better than this system. After installation and evaluation of EZ-EFI from Fast, I realized I have 3 options. I could buy a custom carburetor and have somebody tune it up for me. I can install EFI and have somebody spend all day with a laptop tuning it for me. Or I can install this system myself And after 5 minutes of programming, we're up and running and driving. To me, for the money, this system can't be beat. It's easy to do, it's easy to use, it has onboard diagnostics if I have a problem. For the money, I'd go with EZ-EFI. This is Ed Taylor for Hot Rod Magazine.